Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Touhou Shattered Sky. So this is going to be a bit of a special episode because we are going to be doing the Phantasm stage, and I'm playing as Marissa, and you'll see why in a bit. We went as Reimu in the extra, so obviously we do want to do something different now. This stage is gonna be... it's gonna be something. And you'll see why. But enough of the hype. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to be using Magic Missile because this is the Marissa shot I prefer. Marissa A is a spread shot, but I don't really recommend her for survival. She's good at like scoring though, I hear. So, what is so special about Phantasm? Well, you'll see. It starts off, the stage itself is basically extra, but like harder. Well, you know, obviously, it's gonna be faster and harder than the actual extra stage. Now, you gotta be careful about your streaming here, because if you stream too fast, you might find yourself in a weird situation, so be careful. Now, I'm not gonna be bothering with the whole no bombs thing, because I'm actually pretty bad at this stage. It's just kinda hard, so I'm just gonna play it safe and just go for the win, go for the win, go for the win. So, yeah, you can already hear this nice remix of the extra theme by Abner. It's kind of like how Charming Domination Whodunit is a remix of Charming Domination. I mean, yeah, it's Phantasm. This is what you're gonna get. Now, again, with extra, I really wouldn't recommend bothering with the vortexes. I don't know what happened there. Let's reset. Because why not? I was gonna say I don't recommend using vortexes because I can't really see what help they would be. And you're not really gonna be able to bother with them anyway, so don't worry about them. Also, I want to point out that this fairy here is a bit different because in Extra there were 2 of those fairies, but in Phantasm there's only 1. So keep that in mind. So yeah, if you know where the enemies spawn, you can actually make quick work of them before they even really get to do anything. Also, be careful when you're restreaming back. There we go. Now, what was so hard about this fairy again? That's right, absolutely nothing. This section here is a bit faster than the extra version. Do make sure you're killing these, because if you're not, you're gonna get walled. But as long as you kill them, as you can see right there, you won't get walled. Now, this section here requires a big macro stream far to the left of the screen. So remember that. And I might have screwed myself over. Yep. I forgot that that part was coming, so I wasn't really adequately prepared. And I tried to make up for it by streaming slower, but I wasn't streaming slow enough there. Alright, so our mid-boss is going to be, Tsukiko Seda. As she said in her extra dialogue, she wanted her rematch. This is her rematch, this mid-boss appearance. Now, she's overall harder than Sayuri, except for this first spell, which is easier. The thing about this first spell is that unlike Sayuri's version, it's not so, like, in-your-face and sudden. You have a lot of time to react. In fact, the lasers won't even reach you until a bit after the sound effects have started, so you'll already know when they're starting their firing way in advance before they actually come down. So you'll have a lot of time to prepare. So don't worry too much about that. This spell is a little bit worrisome because you could get cheap shotted by these snake things, so just be careful about that. I mean, they have a pretty predictable movement pattern, but the problem is that you'll probably be trying to focus on the fire itself, which means you might get into a dangerous situation, but as we can see here, it's not really that tough of a spell. This spell, on the other hand, is evil because, this time you've got to dodge 2 lasers, and if they kind of go into each other, that could be really bad, but they don't seem to be doing that, so hey, I'll gladly take that. It's not really that bad, but you know, you don't underestimate things. Now, we're gonna be greeted to this section here. I didn't forget about this section this time. I want to try to kill these things if I can, but I don't seem to be too good at killing those. Oh, and just like with extra, you gotta be careful of these laser fairies. I kind of forgot they were coming because it's been a while since I played Phantasm. So yeah, I wasn't really adequately prepared for that. RIP! Okay. I think this part is the part where you have to kill at least one fairy. And I killed it, but I killed it too late, because my shots were trailing, so yeah. Now, if only I could go about destroying these fairies here. I'm just gonna stay in the middle. I think that's the best course of action. Alright, is it the part? Nope, not yet. There's a certain part where you need a very specific strategy for, but I don't know when it's coming. I think it's this part. Yes, okay, so I don't think I'm gonna do it right, but we're gonna try. As you can see, I kind of went to the right and started streaming back in the middle. Now, the reason I did that is because if you don't stream back in the middle, you can't dodge that part. You see how I wasn't directly in the middle? That's why I died there. I didn't stream back into the middle correctly, but yeah, basically for that part there, if you're not exactly in the middle, you're screwed, which is why I tried to play it a little uniquely there by going to the side and streaming back in the middle, but it didn't work, sadly. That part in general is pretty hard, because there's not that much space to move, and I'm used to doing it with Reimu, so as Marissa, I usually die, apparently, because I guess Marissa has a bigger hitbox, you know? Anyway, I think that self-spawning bullet section kind of gave away what we're gonna see here, but, Yep. Yep. It happened. Erdem actually did it. The absolute madman. He brought back a Mima. Mima, oh my god. Yes, so yes, that's why I said the stage was a meme. Or did I even call it a meme earlier? If I didn't, then I'll say it right now. Phantasm is a meme because we get to fight Mima. And the reason why I'm not doing no bombs is because Mima is like really, really hard. No one, and mark my words, no one will ever no miss no bomb Mima, and that is a challenge to you. I wouldn't recommend going for that. What I would recommend is to just enjoy this meme as it is, and yeah, not try to take it too seriously. So, for these non-spells, you need to remember that the spirits themselves have a hitbox, so while you're going inside of the star waves, you have to be mindful of those spirit hitboxes. Alright, so for the first spell, Star Road, you're going to want to be low on the screen if you can, because being high on the screen can be a death sentence because you can get walled easier on the top of the screen. But if you're at the bottom, you don't really get walled as much because you don't have stuff coming from all sides as much. Like, the farther you are in the center, the more stuff will be coming from all sides, which means the more dangerous the spell will get. So as long as you keep that in mind, you should be okay. The second non-spell is pitifully easy. There should be no problems here. If you get trapped, you can like restream, but it's really, really not threatening at all. Second spell, this spell can give you some really, really tense situations. Actually, I'm just gonna say this right now. Most of Mima is just random dodging. Like, there isn't really gonna be that many tricks on hardly any of her spells. So just get your dodging goggles on. Yeah, it's just a really, really tough random dodging fight. But the thing about the second spell is that you can't always be in the middle. You have to go out of the middle sometimes, because if you were to stay in the middle all the time on that spell, then you're going to get walled eventually. However, if you go to the side of the screen, you can prevent a wall by getting away from where the walls will spawn. Alright, I actually forgot what her third spell was. I forgot. Oh, it's this one. Okay, this one actually isn't that hard. It's not something you can underestimate, but yeah, it's as easy as it looks. It's just stars and easy lasers. What's the fourth non? Oh yeah, this non might be the hardest non, maybe. Only because you gotta watch out for those spirits, because they've got trickiness to them. Okay, fourth star, Nightfall. Oh yeah, so this one, so one trick for Nightfall is that if you try to stay in the same place for a really long time, these stars are eventually going to overwhelm you. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to get away for a bit and then go back. Like, try to stream away from Mima, let the stars lead themselves away, and then make your way back under Mima. If you keep doing that, basically what that'll mean is that the stars will never overwhelm you, so it makes this spell a lot more feasible. Alright. So this non is absolutely trivial. Absolutely trivial. No threat here. You can even restream it, unlike the extra version. Heaven Star Bow. So there's many ways of doing this spell. I do it really stupidly by staying high on the screen, because I find it easier to dodge this when I'm above the lasers. However, if you're not paying enough attention, that can happen. But I really don't like being low on the screen, because those lasers are really spooky, and I don't like getting boxed in at the bottom. So I try to stay high, but I actually don't know if this is actually a viable strat, but I just know that every time I try to do it at the bottom, I just get walled. So I'm not going to deal with that. Yeah, maybe that strat wasn't so good, seeing as I had to bomb like 3 times. Oh my god. I can't believe I failed that non. That non's actually pretty easy. Laser Star Magic. This one is pretty intense, actually. I actually don't remember the last time I've captured this spell. I mean, it's just dodging, like... I'm starting to sound like a broken record at this point, but honestly, that's what Mima is. She's just dodging. She's just dodging. She's a meme. Oh, what the hell? I think that just happened because she moved a lot. Yokai Magic. Okay, so this one's a funny spell. So basically, the threat on this spell is 1 bullet. 1 bullet. As you could have seen there, at the end of each wave, there's that 1 bullet wave that'll try to catch you by surprise. So yeah, that is the only threat of that spell, is just that 1 bullet, and it's actually pretty hard. Now, this non-spell, make sure you get yourself in a good wave, otherwise you're not going to be able to finish it off. But I mean, more than likely you're going to be okay, and I don't know what the hell happened there, but okay. This spell here, I don't really know too much about. From what I remember, it's just about like moving up after each wave. Yeah. It's kind of a weird spell where it encourages you to stream upwards for some reason. So yeah, that counts as a capture. I bombed on the non-spell, so it says I failed that, but that's a capture in my eyes. That's a capture, dude. You know, maybe Mima isn't as bad as I was making out to be earlier. I mean, she's still hard, but she's not, like, impossible or anything. She's a meme! I really should have been lower on the screen there. So this spell in general is not that different from the extra counterpart. As you can see, on the first wave, there was the difference that the very last few waves were a lot denser. I guess try not to stay too close to Mima on those waves in particular. This wave, I think, is unchanged. This wave here. Kind of like how Ran and Yukari's timeouts weren't too different. Eridum set it up so that these 2 timeouts aren't too different. Oh man, that was an embarrassing mistake there. Now, it's important that on this last spell, or this last phase, that you don't go too far out of the edge. Unlike the extra version, there is a square there that actually tries to trap you, so don't go too far out until the end. The square will disappear near the end, obviously, because if it didn't, then you wouldn't have any room to move in, but before the end, just make sure that you prepare. Now, I have never captured this spell before, and I actually, like, I can see how it would be done, but it's really hard. It's intense. Now, the problem is not these waves right here. The problem are the later waves. Now, I think this spell would actually be pretty viable as Reimu B, now that I think about it, or any shot with homing. But as with the extra boss, the problem with this spell is that it's simply not viable for the shots that are focus forward. But, I mean, I guess if you do your streaming... Like, yeah, that can happen. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to root this spell or what even kind of roots you can make for it, because it's just really, really intense, but oh well. Basically, if you want to no miss, no bomb this stage, just play a homing shot, because if you're not playing a homing shot, you're not going to capture this spell. There's just not enough time to damage it. Now, the last spell I didn't memorize because I'm lazy, but it's actually 100% static every time, so it's not like luck shit or random. You just have to memorize it. Now, because I haven't memorized it, I can't really give you an advice on how to do it, but I mean, you goons out there, if you want to memorize it and go through that effort, then by all means. But what I will do is I will just fail every wave because I am lazy and I don't want to memorize. I do know that Eridum had actually a pretty good strat for this spell, so it's not really even that hard once you know what's actually going on. I mean, if a spell is legitimately all memorization, then it can't really be considered that hard once you memorize it, because you just do the same thing every time, and it works every time. But if you're going through it blind, then you're not going to know what to do, so you're just going to get hit everywhere. And this is partially why I didn't go for the no bombs, because I didn't really feel like learning this spell. And, well, the consequence of that is basically, like, yeah. Now, I do know that on my blind attempt of this stage way, way, way back in October, I did capture this last phase. Oh, and I captured it here too, awesome. So it looks like I can accidentally give you a strat for that last wave since I captured it there. Alright. And that is all for Phantasm, aka the meme. The meme stage. Next time, we're gonna do that heaven thing. So have some fun for that then. And I'm actually gonna try to record that tonight, so, yeah. You might be getting a double upload tonight, maybe. No promises, but maybe. Alright, see you guys.